Day 17 of Broncos camp. On the calendar, it's the final day of training camp, but we'll tell you why maybe it's not. Plus, for the first time this offseason, we heard from pass rusher Randy Gregory. We also heard from rookie wide receiver Marvin Mims Jr. Broncos Camp Daily starts right now. And thank you for joining us for Broncos Camp Daily. I am Phil Milani, joined as always by the Hall of Famer Steve Atwater and our good friend Nick Ferguson.
Nick Ferguson.
Guys, today the Broncos spent the second half of practice getting ready for the 49ers and that second preseason game. Nick, what do you want to see from this squad on Saturday?
For me, it's just kind of chemistry. I mean, going back to the Arizona game, we saw the offense start out really slow. It had a lot to do with the offensive line. And looking at what the defense did against this offensive line last week, you have to anticipate defensive coordinator Steve Wilks. He's going to continue to see pressure and see if this offensive line can actually hold up. So when I watch this game, my eyes are going to turn to the offensive line, see if that chemistry and continuity is still there.
Yeah, I'm right along with you there, Nick. I think that offensive line has to show that they are in sync with one another. They can play together and be on the same page. A little bit, I think of some missteps last week, and they got to clean that up. And I think it will be. It didn't sound like there was anything major that was going on, just a few minor tweaks that they need to make. But in any case, they got to be super physical.
Yes.
Because you know the 49ers, you know how they practice.
They're coming.
Oh, yeah, they're
Yes.
coming.
Yes.
Well, Sean Payton said that he expects the starters to play 20, 25 snaps right around there. And we'll also see Javonte Williams, few carries, maybe a catch for the first time on Saturday.
Yeah, this is going to be great for the fans, but more importantly for Javonte, who missed a lot of playing time, because once again, it's not just the offensive line that you're thinking about chemistry with, it's with Javonte too. The last time we saw him, I mean, he was just running through guys. I want to see how well that knee actually holds up. Is he really durable? But I think Sean Payton is doing the right thing, keeping him on the pitch count.
Yeah, and I think that offensive line has to take it upon themselves to make sure that their running back, their superstar running back, is protected, that he has some big, wide holes to run through to where, at the end of this game, we'll feel good about the entire offense.
He says he's ready to go, but I imagine there's a little bit of a mental hurdle there. First time you're actually getting tackled in a game, that's going to be a big step for him.
Yeah, as a guy that had 2 knee surgeries myself, that was a big part of my comeback. The mental part of it, when you get that first contact, how does he feel? Does he get up right away? Is it a little pause or a little hesitation? I know everyone's going to be watching. The moment that happens, everyone's going to take a deep gasp to see, is he up? Is he good to go? But I think, once again, this is the prime time to get him implemented into this offense, because there's only one more preseason game before the start of the regular season.
Yeah, and we remember Adrian Peterson. He had several ACL injuries, and he was able to come back from them. And it looks like Javonte Williams may be on that same type of path, just because it looks like there's no effects from the surgery from him out here running around on the field. He looks amazing, and I'm hoping that he comes out of this game with 0 scars, 0 setbacks.
Looking forward to seeing him. Now, on the calendar, on the schedule, we thought today was the last day of training camp. It's definitely the last day for fans to come out here and check out the squad. But when head coach Sean Payton was asked, hey, is this the last day? Here's what he had to say.
No, I think no. We have a whole week next week.
Okay. Checking out of the hotel or staying in a hotel?
Yeah, some of the vets, I'll allow, but we're in camp still, and there's no light even at the end of the tunnel. It's dark.
All right, so no light at the end of the tunnel, guys. A lot of work still left for this Broncos squad. Well, let's talk about the pass rush a little bit here, because for the first time this entire offseason, we heard from Randy Gregory.
I think it was a good time to hear from Randy Gregory. And for me, from my perspective as a former player, it worked best for him, because last year wasn't a season that he wanted. He got injured. There was a lot of expectations, but now getting a couple of practices on his belt, playing with Jonathan Cooper, having Frank Clark across from him, that's going to help him out. And when you listen to him, you can tell this is a guy who is excited about this upcoming season, and he wants to wreak havoc on opposite quarterbacks around this league.
Yeah, I think he's definitely happy to have Frank Clark, because to me it seems like they're both cut from the same cloth. Guys who play with an attitude, guys two players who I think are going to really inspire their team to go out and give it their all, because they play mean, they play nasty, and as a defensive player, I think you got to have some guys like that.
You know what's funny about that? Seeing Steve Atwater, who's a very calm guy, but when you get him on the field, a guy who knows about being low down and nasty. So Steve, if anyone needs to know about it, Steve definitely knows what this pass rush could look like with those two guys as your edge rushers.
Randy Gregory's a nice guy off the field, but on the field, the same way, just a different kind of guy. Here's what he said about his fellow pass rusher, Frank Clark.
I love Frank. Me and Frank actually came out same year. A lot of our pre-draft visits were on the same teams and things like that. So, I've known him for a while now. He's a guy that's really going to help us in the room. He's been in Super Bowls. He's won them, 10-plus sack years, things like that. So there's a lot of stuff we can learn from him.
Okay, that was Randy Gregory. We also heard for the first time this training camp from rookie wide receiver Marvin Mims Jr. With Tim Patrick's injury, he's sort of been thrown into the mix, huh?
Yeah, this is an excellent opportunity for Mims to actually go out there and show what he can do as maybe the third, fourth wide receiver, but more importantly, how can he benefit in this team and be an impact on special teams? And knowing Sean Payton's history, and this is one thing I love about him, he finds what a player can do and try to set him up and put him in the right position. So knowing as though, hey, listen, there's a lot of receiver battles that still are unsettled here, but Mims is in a great position to take that next step.
Yeah, and I've said this a few times before, Marvin Mims, he's been exceedingly well at every level of play. He was elite when he was playing youth football, and then in high school he was Texas Man of the Year or something, and then in college he went and dominated. And I think that same thing is going to happen at this level. The coaches have a lot of confidence in him to have him in the position he's in going into this next preseason game as the third wide receiver, and big kudos for him. He's been putting in the work, not only in the playbook, but out here on the field. We've been seeing that, and I think it's going to be some exciting days ahead for Marvin Mims.
Yeah, he the way he talks, he doesn't sound like a rookie. It doesn't sound like anything's too big for him. But hey, playing with Russell Wilson, that's a little bit different.
Yeah, it's a little weird. Russ has been in the league for a while. I'm just turned 21 in March, so be able to be out there on the field with him, it's a little weird. But just being able to learn from him. I mean, guys seen a lot of things, have a lot of different receivers, so whatever he can throw at me, I'm trying to take it in and apply it to the game as fast as possible.
That's got to be cool for Mims playing with somebody that he grew up watching on TV. Now he's catching passes from Russell Wilson. A cool experience there. Let's talk about guys that he's been going up against in practice, and that secondary. It's going to be a priority to get all those guys healthy. Good to see PS2 back out on the field.
Yeah, it's a great thing to see PS2 back on the field. I mean, you just long to the point of wanting Justin Simmons to be back out there, but with he being out and Caden Stearns, having, I guess, what coach would consider to be a vet day, it gives an opportunity for a lot of other guys, Jaquan McMillan, to get out there, to make some plays and really show that they deserve to be on this team, but also a guy like Isam Bassey, show he can play outside, inside, special teams, and play the safety position. That's a guy who, if you're looking at it from a coaching standpoint, a lot of versatility and a lot of things that Vance Joseph can do with those types of players.
Yeah, and we also got a chance to see some of the young safeties, DeLauren Turner-Yale getting a chance to get some run with the ones because Justin was out. And, having Kareem Jackson and Justin Simmons in the room is such a great resource for these young safeties, and I'm looking for some great play for them. J.L. Skinner is another young guy. I'm looking for him to have some type of big splash this week, him to kind of show that, hey, man, I can play at this level. Yeah. He has the speed, he has the size, he has the heart. They just got to show it on the field. Show it on the film. Let people know what you can do.
It could be one of the best secondaries in the entire NFL. Let's go down to field level and check in with team reporter Sydney Jones.
Thanks, Phil. We're here with cornerback Pat Surtain. Pat, the final open practice of training camp here. Just overall, what did you think about this year's camp?
I think it's been well. Putting a lot of new pieces together. Seeing how the team fits in, and we've been working hard. It's been a tough grueling schedule, but I know it's going to pay off. And we've been making progress each and every week. So I'm excited for the season.
For you specifically, Pat, what's been your main focus at camp this year?
Just getting better each and every day, but also being more of a leader out there towards the younger guys. Because I was once in that position, coming first day of training camp, then, weeks and weeks progress, I just felt myself get better, and I feel like that's my job, just to help them, reach their goals and help them elevate, and I just want to keep on building on that.
Looking at the offense, I feel like the past couple practices, they've really been clicking. What have you seen from them?
Yeah, no, I just see a lot of consistency going on. I can feel like they clicking on all cylinders. Sean has them going, and I feel like it's going to be a special year for them. We got, great guys on the perimeter, great quarterback, great running back. So, I just can't wait to see what it turns to this season.
You've been going up against, Cortland Sutton a lot this camp. He's had a really good camp. Yeah. What have you liked about what he's been doing out there?
Man, he's making plays. You can just tell that he's more confident, I could say, and he's just out there. He's poised to have a big year, and he's Russ trusting him. I just can't wait to see what he got out there because I've seen it each and every day. The progress. He's just been getting better each and every day. He's making me better. I'm making him better. Iron sharpens iron. So, I just can't wait to see what he got this year.
On the other side of you, Damari Mathis, how have you really seen him step up this camp? Because he's made some big moves.
Yeah, Damari, he's been a game changer. He's been making plays left and right. And you could just tell, like, the night and day difference from year one to year two, just how confident he is, how much into the playbook he's in. Even though it's a new scheme, he's just very locked in and dialed into that. And, it goes to show each and every day on the practice field.
Last one for you, Pat. I know you didn't play at all in the first preseason game. Are you hoping to play at all this Saturday?
Yeah. I've been progressing the right way, trending the right way to play. But, obviously I'm going to see how I feel. Hopefully I could play. I always want to get, some reps before the regular season, to get acclimated and get my feet wet. So, I'm looking forward to playing, hopefully. But if not, just go out there, cheer the guys on and, just keep on doing what I do.
Well, appreciate your time, Pat. Always a pleasure.
No problem. Thank you.
Phil, I'll send it back to you.
Thank you very much, Sydney. Time to wrap up now, guys. Final thoughts here before heading off to San Francisco.
Well, one thing I want to see this defense, I want to see how they tackle. When you face against a Kyle Shanahan team, they're going to run the ball, they're going to run the ball, and they're going to run the ball. So more than that. And it gives a lot of these guys on the second level, the linebackers, an opportunity to actually show that they can game tackle, but also for the guys up front, can you hit shed and get off those blocks and get downhill? It's going to be paramount that we see that from a team defense standpoint, how they tackle, because going into the first 5 games of the regular season, you're going to face some teams who are going to run the ball, and you have to show that you can tackle consistently.
Yeah, I agree with that big time. And I would say just on the other side of that, we're going to have to show that we can run the ball against a good defense. And 49ers, again, they play hard every single play, and we got to make sure we match that intensity. And we got to actually initiate it and make sure that when we're going up against teams, we're the ones who teams are talking about. These Broncos, they play fast. They're good. They don't take any plays off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the final score doesn't really matter, but Sean Payton was saying, hey, getting a win, it changes the vibe, it changes the feel. Things would have been a little different if the Broncos would have held on last week. So getting a win and just getting a good feeling going here as they get set for joint practices coming up with the Rams next week. All right, that's going to do it for us. For Steve Atwater and Nick Ferguson, I'm Phil Milani. This has been Broncos Camp Daily.